Hello there, this is Nate. You've probably read the title and you can probably see what's going on here. So these are all zombie games from Roblox and we're going to be putting them on the tier list. So we have Call of Duty Zombies inspired games or copies. We have round based games. We have simulator style sort of games. And we have open world or RPG games. So we're going to be starting with the Call of Duty Zombies types games. So we have MMC Zombies up front. This one, it's pretty good. It has Pack-a-Punch and everything. It's got, I did find a few bugs when I was playing it. But overall, it's pretty good. The reloads were a little bit long for my liking though. And I'll put it in the B tier. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm ranking them by my personal taste. Just like how much I personally liked the games. And then how well the game works, and just a few other things you'll see along the way. Next one is Project Lazarus. So this one has more bugs than MMC Zombies, and I believe it only has one map. But besides that, it works alright. I'm gonna put it in the C tier. I'll just make it fit a bit better there. The next one is Resurrection. Now Resurrection is really, it's not that much better than the other two, but it's my favorite out of all of them. I think the knifing is really slow in Resurrection, but it doesn't really work all the time, and I kind of want to put it in the A tier just because I like it more than the other ones, so that's what I'm going to do. But if my personal taste wasn't like as big of a factor, it would probably go in B tier or maybe C. Well, no, definitely not C. It has a lot of maps, and it's about equal to MMC Zombies. The next one is Nerf FPS Zombies. Now you can't actually play this anymore. They canceled production on it and development, or I'm pretty sure I couldn't find a way to play it when I looked for it recently. But when it did exist, it was a bit of a train wreck. The hit registration was just awful. The idea was pretty good that you could use Nerf guns and just have Call of Duty Zombies with Nerf guns. But then knifing didn't work, or it did, but it was super low damage. The doors were like obscenely expensive, and it was just an endless grind. This one is either D or F. I'm just gonna put it in F. It could have been saved, but they didn't save it, so. Next one is Recoil Zombies. Now this one is another one of my favorite ones. Now I really want to put this one in the S tier because this is its own game. This isn't just Call of Duty Zombies. I mean it is, but it has a few things that make it different enough to normal Call of Duty Zombies to make it like at least a bit of a different game to me. So this game is very fast paced. Like reloads are they're super fast. And reviving people is really fast, and that's something that I really like. But then there are a couple bugs with like moving around. So I think I was gonna originally put this in the B tier because of the movement system is a bit clunky and moving around and stuff is a little bit like jerky and stuff, and it kind of makes it uncomfortable. But then it's a lot of fun. The audio is also pretty jerky, but it has a cool pack-a-punch like idea where you can pack-a-punch your guns like 3 times, and it's more expensive each time, and it just makes it a better gun. And that's something that I really like about this one. So it could definitely be a B tier on someone else's tier list, but I think it deserves an A tier. Next one, Reason to Die Awakening. Now we're getting into our round-based games. So Reason to Die Awakening, it's the first round-based zombie game I played. Now it has fun gameplay, but then it also got kind of ruined for me by when I realized how like greedy it was of like a game. Because see, when you do a boss fight in, I don't know, Dread or a lot of games on Roblox, if you beat the boss with a bunch of people, then everyone in the server will get like the prize for beating the boss. But in Reason to Die, you need 30 people to beat the boss, and one of them will get this limited event item or whatever it is. But you'll probably be able to buy it for like 600 Robux. And that's just one example of like what I'm trying to say is it's basically the EA of like round-based zombie games on Roblox, and I think I'm putting it in the C tier for that. I'm kind of, you know what? I'm gonna put there. That will separate our zombie games from our round-based games. That looks nice, right? Alright, next is Dead Slate. Now, Dead Slate it's a pretty new game. It's in alpha. But I gotta say, this is like this is probably my favorite new game. I like it about as much as I like, maybe even more than I like Dread. I mean, Dread has a special place in my heart, but gotta say, this one has so much potential, and it's already such a good game. It's fast paced. It has like a good amount of random like chance that you'll die. Like I don't know. If like a bunch of zombies there's quite a few types of zombies, and they're all pretty balanced. Like I won't go into all the different types of zombies, and there are some rare ones that are very dangerous, but you can still kill them and get away from them pretty easily. Or not too easily, but easily enough that it's not unfair. It has some Easter eggs in the lobby, and it's not, I wouldn't say that it's like an S tier yet, but it has so much like potential, and it's already like such a good game that I'm gonna give it an S tier, even though it would be I think it could be more of an A tier, but yeah. Next up is Dread. It's Reason to Die. It's not Reason to Die, but they pretty much took Reason to Die, made it a lot better, and then it made it its own game too. It doesn't have any of the problems that Reason to Die has, but it's round based, and that's the only similarity it has to Reason to Die. But then Dread, the only problem that I have with Dread is that in single player, the riot zombies are a lot harder to kill than the other zombies, but in multiplayer, like, that's really good game. Zombie Stories, bit of a weird one, I guess. I want to put it in the A tier. It's a lot of fun. It does get boring after you do all the stories, but then when you're doing them, it's a lot of fun, and then you unlock a lot of weapons. It is a bit hard to get cash. I think they could, if they wanted to make the game more enjoyable for me anyway, they could increase the round rewards. But yeah, it has a few other game modes. There's a PvP mode and like an arcade style mode, and I think a survival mode too. So yeah, overall it's an A tier for me. Those Who Remain. This one is, I really like how this game like looks. Like, the graphics are great, but then I feel like Zombie Stories is pretty much like, it's very similar to Those Who Remain, but it has more replayability. Because Those Who Remain, it's a fun game, and it's great, but then it gets boring really fast. Like, after one round, you're like, I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. So that gets us into the next games. These ones aren't gonna do too well on my tier list because I don't like them very much, except for Zombie Rush. But anyway, we have Zombie Strike up first. Zombie Strike, it's a simulator game. Oh yeah, we'll make another barrier. it's a simulator game. I don't like simulator games. So it has some like pretty low effort like bosses. There's no elevation difference in Zombie Strike. Actually, there is some, but you can't really use it to be safe from the zombies or have a better chance of surviving the zombies. Your survival is pretty much only based on how good your weapon is and how high your level is, and it gets exponentially different so that you have to grind to get to the next level to do the next levels. So for that, I'm putting it in a D tier. It's not an F tier because it's a good game, or it's not a good game. I don't like it, and it's a grind, but it looks good. I can see that for younger kids this would be like an A tier or a B tier. But then I don't know. I can't see anyone over like 10 playing this game and like actually enjoying it, or at least enjoying it more than any of these other games, except for Reason to Die. Reason to Die is not very friendly to new players. Zombie Rush. This one, it's a Zombie Rush is a classic. It's been on Roblox since Roblox was a thing, or it hasn't, but my point still stands. It's been on Roblox since I've played Roblox, and I used to play this game way too much. But it isn't a B tier. It's more of a C tier in terms of like replayability, just because of how repetitive it is. But I'm gonna give it a B tier just because I do enjoy it and it has some nostalgia for me. Oh, Zombie Attack up next. Now Zombie Attack, it's pretty much Zombie Rush, but they improved some mechanics, so I'm gonna put it lower than Zombie Rush. That makes sense, right? Anyway, gonna put another divider here and move on to our open world and RPG games. So, Rise of the Dead, or ROTD as some people call it. This game is pretty good. If you play it, you'll enjoy it. If you like zombie games and doing like missions and things. Now there are some bugs and things that are kind of awkward, like holding a shotgun. The shotguns are like larger proportionally to the characters, or larger than a shotgun should be proportional to the characters, so it looks pretty awkward when they're holding it because it's like, I don't know, there are some weird quirks like that. But I think this can be a solid B tier. Actually, it could be an A tier. How about this? I'll put it here because it is a good game. But then I'm kind of stuck on this one. Actually, I think it belongs here. Alright, Alone. This game is an open world game. So Rise of the Dead it's an RPG game, but then it's an RPG game. So then Alone it's an open world game. And they kind of stopped developing it, I'm pretty sure, because I found Easter eggs when I was playing it like today. I thought that was kind of weird. But it was updated in like October last year. But then the game does work pretty well. It doesn't have very much like there are quite a few places to explore. And then after you explore them, there isn't too much to do except grind, which isn't something that I like in a video game. So I think this one is also a B tier because it is still pretty good. There is another game mode, but then the game mode's pretty much a separate game that just uses like some of the same mechanics. It's called Alone Battle Royale. Alright, the next one, our last game on this list, is Apocalypse Rising. Now, I remember playing this like I don't know, 2 years ago, and I remember there not being any zombies. But then I played again, and there were a lot of zombies, so they did they did improve that, or I just wasn't remembering right. But I don't know, it's a pretty old game. But then if you want to play Apocalypse Rising, I would recommend Unturned. It's like Apocalypse Rising, but better, and it's also free. It's on Steam, though. So in Apocalypse Rising, you pretty much it's a completely open world game, like even more than Alone. Because Alone, there is a home base that you can come back to trade and things like that, but Apocalypse Rising, there isn't. You just find things, survive, and then get killed by people who have better guns than you. Now, I did find a few bugs when I played it, but then development has kind of stopped on this game. I don't really want to put it in the C tier, but then I don't want to put another game in between two tiers. I could do that, but development's kind of stopped on this game, as far as I can tell. Since it's an old game, I think I should have a bit lower standards for it, but Alone is just like a better version of it, and I put that in the B tier. Or it's not a better version of it, but Unturned is a better version of it. Unturned is an S tier. And I think that Alone is better than Apocalypse Rising. Because Apocalypse Rising, it also just gets boring pretty fast, because you're just walking and trying to find stuff, and then that doesn't change at all. Yeah, I think that'll pretty much wrap up my tier list. This is going to take a lot of editing and stuff. So, if you would like and subscribe, that would be great. If you don't want to, that's fine too. But yeah, this is my tier list. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you disagree with any of these, or if a zombie game that you wanted to be on the tier list wasn't on the tier list, and I don't know, talk about it in the comments. I only put games that I've played enough to have a good view of on here. I think there's one popular one called Undead Incoming or something like that. That's a really old one that I haven't played yet, but I think it's pretty popular. I think that might be a popular one in the comments. But if you know good zombie games, I like to play them on my channel, obviously. So, thanks for watching. See you next time. Stuff.